to rebrand or not to rebrand? That is the question. I believe it was Shakespeare who first asked this about 500 years or so ago through Hamlet, but it's a question being asked by a lot of Calgarians right now, and at what price to rebrand? In this case, it's $4.8 million. That's right. Over a 2-year period, extensive consultations with engagements involving 129 different organizations through 26 sectors. The total bill for the consultations, $4.8 million. And where they've landed in terms of the decision to rebrand, Calgary from this day forward is to be forever known as the Blue Sky City. That's right, you heard that correctly. The Blue Sky City. Now, the only strategic reason to rebrand would be to create substantial differentiation through a highly distinctive identity. Identity drives differentiation, and in this case, with all due respect to the well-meaning, hard-working people, I think there's a lot of other cities in Canada, maybe all of North America, that also have a lot of bright blue skies. And so, that being said, Blue Sky City fails on a number of levels, not the least of which it does not take into account the City of Calgary already has a very well-earned, well-respected global reputation as being the Stampede City. So look at it this way. It would be similar to what would unfold in conversations and debates in cities like New York, Pittsburgh, and Denver, where for whatever reason, let's say the city fathers and mothers decided, well, we don't want to be known as the Big Apple or the Steel City or the Mile High City anymore. You know, the Big Apple, that's, all kinds of connotations and implications around temptation, going back to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Besides, Steve Jobs is associated with Apple, and maybe he's not in current favor. Or in Pittsburgh, well, the Steel City, we can't be steel anymore because that's corrosive, and that sends a very bad message in terms of being environmentally friendly. Or in the Mile High City in Denver, well, we can't do that, especially in light of all what's going on with cannabis, and maybe we don't want the perception that we're a bunch of dope-sucking hippies. Whatever the reason is, the public has already decided. The public has decided New York is the Big Apple, Pittsburgh's the Steel City, Denver's the Mile High City, Calgary is the Stampede City. And that identity actually dates back to 1912. The Duke of Connaught, Governor General of Canada, comes over here to Calgary and opens the Carnival of Cowboy Sports, open to the entire world, and since then, for more than 100 years, Calgary has built upon that reputation. The Stampede City, though, is also deeply intrinsic in terms of community, especially with all those hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of free Stampede breakfasts. Every church group, community group, corporation, sports team, anything you can think of is hosting these free pancake breakfasts for about a 2-week period. The spirit would be akin to Christmas in July. People I found so welcoming and inviting, and yes, they were inclusive, and they all dressed up in their Western gear, and it's really, the city is putting its best foot forward, one citizen at a time, through these Stampede breakfasts. It's good flipping fun. And so that dates back to 1923. Jack Wild Horse Morgan riding that pancake wagon down 8th Avenue. You see, somewhere over the rainbow, Judy Garland said, always be a first-rate version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of somebody else. And I think what's happened here in Calgary, no matter how well-intentioned, and no matter what the well-meaning suits in charge of these different organizations say, as soon as you opt for being inclusive as part of your strategic reasoning and rationale, you've just made a decision to abandon differentiation. You've made a decision that consensus matters more than core identity. Calgary, you were always first rate and world class with the Stampede City. Why settle for second best? It's a question worth asking. And right now it's a question worth about $4.8 million.